Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our Fallout 4 playthrough series. If you missed last episode, you should go watch that. It's here on the YouTube channel. Um, if you have been watching the live streams recently, you know that I've replaced my I've replaced my Thursday live streams, at least for the time being, with Fallout 4 playthrough content. And as you could see by my last video, it was a pretty fresh foray into editing and releasing this kind of content. So I again would like to apologize if it is kind of shoddy for a little while or a little sketchy, because it is very new and therefore it's going to take a little bit of time. However, we're rolling here. I'm trying a different setup so we can cancel some of the outside noise, because that was kind of something I dealt with last time. However, enough of the riffraff. Today, we are going to be making our way down into Sanctuary Hills, which is, well, hold on, sorry. Let me get all this stuff first before I go on a little spree. We are going down there into our old neighborhood before the bombs fell. And we are going to knock out some stuff around there and then see how far we get. I'm keeping the episodes to around 30, 45 minutes. I don't really want to do any long hour ones just about yet, because mostly it's on the time constraints I'm having personally right now. But we will soon be adjusting everything into getting it like a normal release schedule and everything. As for right now, we will see what day this comes out. It all depends on when I finish up here recording this and everything. And yeah, just so we have everything mapped out so everyone can see, this is our build. Pardon me. This is our build. We've got a strength of 2, a perception boosted to 5 from 4, I believe, because of the glasses we are wearing. We've got an endurance at 2, so we're a little squishy, but, we're a little squishy, but that's okay, because we're going for more of a glass cannon kind of style here, if you couldn't tell. Charisma is at 1. We might be boosting that depending on how I feel. I wanted to start out doing more of a sharpshooter, like kind of build here, heavy on the VATs, heavy on the action points and everything like that. Intelligence 3, that will get boosted, because I want to make sure that I am covering, all our mod upgrades and everything you can do with science and gun nut and everything like that, because to me that's important, because you can really maximize the damage out of a gun. Agility of 9, because that for me is the most important stat here in Fallout 4. I know a lot of other YouTubers have commented on it, and I would agree, it is the most important stat. And we got ourselves some 7 luck, which will also be boosted. No perks yet, obviously. Let's roll on over here. We've got 2 10mm, Molotov cocktail, and a security baton. We've got the eyeglasses on, the tech coat, which I know has an intelligence boost on the 2 there, but I would rather keep the damage resistance with the energy weapon resistance and the rad resistance for the moment. We're going to keep these wedding rings. Whoopsie doozy. That's not what I said. Back. So that's where we're sitting at about right now. And we are going to loot a little bit and make our way down to Sanctuary Hills and see what we can find there. Desk fan, the ever-important screws, if I remember correctly. As I said, it's been a lot. First bottle cap, too. How fun. Take the ashtray. 10mm round. Always nice to have more ammo. Make sure we're reloaded here. I believe this is cram, We're not playing on survival. We're just playing on normal, if I remember correctly. Are those crows? Oh, yeah, there's crows in this game. Yeah, we're not playing on survival or anything like that crazy. Maybe in the future I'll look into that, but I'm not a real big fan of the whole babysitting meters when it comes to, survival games. I just never really enjoyed it all that much. not to say I don't think it's good. I think it's honestly a really cool thing. But I personally just don't enjoy it as much as a lot of people do. Alright. Make our way into Sanctuary. Here we go. Alright. I always thought this was a really cool moment where you can kind of dig back in, you can like come back in and see how things are. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna clear out some of these houses and do some pre-looting really quick. I also I want to try to keep the editing kind of to a minimum so I can get a decent turnaround rate on this series. Seeing as I'm already kind of playing from a little bit behind here, just because of you know, the way that my schedule works out. I work a pretty busy job at the moment, so we are swamped at work almost all the time. So I want to make sure I'm able to put content out, but we got to kind of keep it rolling and keep it as streamlined as possible at the moment. Yes, I know that's locked and everything. I want to get more bobby pins before I start going nuts with the lock picking. Just cause you never know. Let's see. I know eventually there's going to be bloat flies, but I think that's on the other end here. We don't need the kitchen scale. Just keep tapping that bats button. See if anything pop-a-rooney's up. Don't think so. Oh, a red dress. How beautiful. Should we take it? Those are some medics. Actually, we will take the red dress because that, if I remember correctly, is also a charisma boost, which is always hysterical, but also a really good time. Okay, so we've got the safe in here. We'll have to remember. And by remember, I mean I'm absolutely 100% going to forget about it. And so then we're gonna have to come back to Sanctuary at some point, and I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, I forgot. Let me get through these. Now I know there is the token frag grenades right over here. So while we're working our way down, oh gosh, that was pure panic. I wasn't ready for the rad roach to come trying to find me. Oh no, the radiation. I always thought that was a really cool update because it really made radiation a bit more, it made radiation a bit more, you know, menacing than it did in the first, well, in my first foray into Fallout, which was 3. You know, as I mentioned last video, I actually played Fallout 1 and 2 on the PC at a buddy's house. Sparingly, I didn't necessarily... See, my memory is so poor because it was so long ago. There's our bobby pins. I knew one of the houses had them. But, you know, I just... I would just like to, you know, say that I think they did a pretty good job with the radiation in Fallout 4 because it does make it a bit more problematic. It makes it more menacing, and you got to watch your rads a little bit better than most, you know, most of the Fallout franchise. It's kind of, you can kind of ignore them a little bit unless it starts getting really aggressive. Then you just pop some rad X and that's it. I mean, granted, I know you can kind of do that here and everything, but rad X or rad away, pardon me. Yeah, you can kind of do that in this game, but at the end of the day, it's still, you're going to find yourself in situations where you have a lot of rads and you have a lot of maximum health missing, and I think that's hold on a sec. Let's take a look here. What do we got here? So that's going to be your charisma. Let's not that cross-dressing isn't fine, but it's about the same thing. Granted, yes, less weight, but we'll put it back here. Let's be a little more professional for our friend Codsworth when we walk up, because pretty soon we're gonna, oh, whoopsie, I guess we activated that trigger right there. Let's go talk to Codsworth. It's always a fun conversation.
As I live and breathe. Oh, it's really you.
Codsworth? You're still here. So, other people could still be alive too.
Well, of course I'm still here. Surely you don't think a little radiation could deter the pride of General Atomics International?
I love
But
Codsworth.
you seem the worse for wear. Best not let the wife see you in that state. Where is the missus, by the way?
I always found it to be this pretty brutal, but we'll go kind of brutal here.
They killed her.
Sir, these things you're saying, these terrible things, I believe you need a distraction. Yes, a distraction to calm this
Yes,
dire...
a distraction from the nuclear
It's been
holocaust.
ages since we've had a proper family activity. Checkers, or perhaps charades. Sean
Charades.
does so love that game. Is the lad with you?
Sean's been kidnapped. But I'm going to find him.
You know, it's kind of brutal.
I'm going to get my son
Codsworth's just
back.
trying to be a nice
than I thought.
family robot.
You're suffering from hunger-induced paranoia. Not eating properly for 200 years will do that, I'm afraid.
200 years? What? Are you...
Did you see my character's
Bit over
lip syncing just go off? That was pretty
210,
enjoyable.
sir. Oh, give
Had a
or
good
take,
time right there.
For the Earth's rotation and some minor dings to the old chronometer. That means you're 2 centuries late for dinner. Perhaps I can whip you up a snack? You must be famished.
I think this is a guaranteed okay.
Codsworth,
Here.
you're acting... a little bit weird. What's wrong?
Yep. I think that one's guaranteed.
Oh, son, it's been just horrible. 2 centuries with no one to talk to, no one to serve. I spent the first 10
I love this
years
line, or this
trying
series
to
of
keep
lines.
the
They're so
walls
good.
waxed, but nothing gets out nuclear fallout from vinyl wood. Oh, nothing. And don't get me started about the futility of dusting a collapsed house. And the car! How do you polish rust?
Stay with me.
Stay with me, pal. Focus.
I'm afraid I don't know anything, sir. The bombs came and all of you left in such a hurry. I thought for certain you and your family were dead. I did find this
Oh,
holotape.
jeez. This part's
I
sad, too.
believe the missus was going to present it to you as a surprise. But then, well, everything happened.
A holotape? What's on it?
I believe it's a private message for you. My
Ooh la
etiquette
la.
protocols would not permit me to play it for myself. Any standard holotape reading device should be able to play it back. Oh, like that Pip-Boy on your
Oh,
arm.
how convenient.
That
The
should
Pip-Boy on
work
my arm.
Brilliantly. Now, enough feeling sorry for myself. Shall we search the neighborhood together? The missus and young Sean may turn up yet.
Have you seen anything dangerous?
Oh, just the usual, sir. Pesky neighborhood dogs and mosquitoes. Shall I investigate?
All right. Lead the way.
Let's go murder with
To
Codsworth.
serve, sir.
Sounds good.
Picking up hostile life signs.
You know, it does beg the question with the Mr. Handies. Why was a flamethrower why did that come standard?
Oh well. Carry on.
Hey.
What's all this? Peekaboo.
See, he just goes flying off, and if you don't keep up with him, then you run into situations. Yeah, he's pretty effective. I mean, look at him go, man. With like a buzzsaw and everything, it's a pretty good, pretty good time.
Yeah, but a few flies. Wait. My senses are picking up movement in another house. Follow me.
Actually, which I might do a live stream at some point. By might, I probably will do a live stream at some point where I show off my main save in Fallout 4. and you guys can see just like the insanity that I put into it. I have had a blast with this game, and I've kept my original save. I had modded it a little bit here and there, and
Apparently decided we were too much trouble. Mr. Stephen,
hello.
your family isn't here either. They're really gone, aren't they?
Sean's out there, Codsworth. I need to find him.
We'll be
What
focused.
about Concord, sir? Plenty of people there. And last I checked, they only pummeled me with sticks a few times before I had to run back home.
There's still people alive in Concord?
Yes, although they're a bit rough. You remember the way? Just across the southern footbridge, out of the neighborhood, and past the Red Rocket Station? I shall remain here and secure the home front.
Okay, so what we're going to do now that we've got that done, is we're going to loot the rest of these houses. Because we will probably do a little bit of early game scavenging before we move on to the next part. Because the next part, I really want to cover Concord in one full episode. And I think it's important to show off some of the looting spots too, just in case, you know, Fallout 4 is new to you, or you haven't, you know, ooh, ceramic's good. Just in case you haven't played it or you haven't got around to it, I want to show off some of the, I don't know a lot of secrets, but I do know a couple, and I'm going to be looking some stuff up here and there as well. I think the plastic is actually a good take early game. That way, in case you know, I might spark your interest, and we can play this game together, because it is a phenomenal game. I am more of a fan of the single-player Fallouts, clearly. 76 was a fantastic idea, not the best execution. It was a shame, too, because I was very, very, very excited about it. Or at least that's how I feel about the whole the whole deal. I had the hiccup there. Hiccup? Should I take the fire extinguisher? Probably not. Ooh, we got the Pip-Boy light. Okay. So, we're just looking for anything that we can kind of, might be useful. And we'll keep an eye on our weight. Since we only have a strength of 2, we're not going to have a mass amount of carry weight to start out with. That can always be boosted, though. Instead of taking a perk in case you... Ooh, yes. We go clean... But in fact, let's actually take a look-see here. I think the clean black suit is going to be better than the t-shirt and slacks. Yeah, because it just makes more sense to me, doesn't it? Put the t-shirt and slacks in. Yeah, I know I could be technically, like, keep it hanging on to those just in case, but that's fine. Not too worried about it. Now, if I remember correctly, this is the house with the cellar. Weird cellar. Yep. We gotta be prepared, because who knows what's down here? It's nothing. This is, if you don't know, it's quite easy to miss this. This is a phenomenal place to get your early game stuff. I mean, you have aluminum, which is worth its weight in gold. Yes, I know I'm taking pre-war money after I said I wasn't going to. I don't know why I did that. Deathclaw hand. I'll probably leave that. But take all the food, because you never know when you're going to need it. Grab all the purified water. Aluminum as well. And then you have gold down here, which is... the Gwinnett Stout might be helpful for some reason. I don't remember if I ever really used alcohol in the game or the drugs as much as a lot of people have experimented. Maybe we'll do that in this game. Maybe we'll actually dive into that. Let's see here. We got some 45 rounds. I can't get the mac and cheese. Oh, geez, I hit the wrong button. If you heard the thumping, it's because Kaylee came in to stare at what I was doing. Kaylee. You know, I'm actually very impressed with the snowball mic that I'm using right now. It's pretty sensitive. I did not expect it to be this sensitive, which is nice. I mean, it's you know, it is a good old microphone, so it's a decent microphone. So I would go with the advanced, but I'm not going to have a perk for it right now. So yeah, if you're ever wondering, guys, here, let me get out here for you. But a lot of decent early game stuff is going to be about right here. And in case you're... Stop crouching. In case you're wondering, you come up the main street in Sanctuary. And it's the one with this burnt-out car literally right in front of it. You go around the back. You can always spot it by this fallen tree. It's the one on the right side. Wow, forgot directions for a second there. That's got a little decent amount of early game loot and good stuff. Let's see here. Bubblegum. We'll take that just in case. You never know. Nuka-Cola is always a good idea. Take a decent amount of food because you want to be kind of conserving your stim packs, in my mind, only to use in dire situations. If you can shove food in your mouth and then try to counteract the rads, not a bad idea. I love how this game really did push the fact that Halloween was coming up, because October 23rd happened. I mean, shoot. We will save the safes for a little bit later. Something is nagging me to be like, hey, don't worry about the safes. We will loot our house, which Codsworth is in front of, in a second. Now, in Sanctuary, I've literally always used this section as my go-to place. So what we're gonna do here is we are going to take all this junk that we're finding and eventually shove it into the workshop, I think, unless it's blocked at the moment. But that's the plan. We'll see if that's what actually happens. The used oil cans are good, guys, because you have a little bit of oil, and that's a decently rare commodity near the beginning of the game, so please make sure you're checking around, grabbing some of that harder to find early game stuff, because eventually you're going to come back here and you're going to scrap the... Ooh. Fashionable glasses, we'll take those for a charisma boost. Oh man, you know what? The fishing rod's a good one. I think I saw one earlier, but I think I might have missed it. Now that I'm looking at this, I don't know if I'll be able to... Yes. Okay, yes I know. Now... Okay, exit. Transfer. Store all junk. Okay, so we've stored all of our junk in here, so that way... We've got it ready to go when it comes time to start building and scrapping everything. That's always a good sign. I just saw makeshift battery. Give me that. Let's put it over in here. Store that. Eureka. Do I have one cap? I have one cap. I have $1. Let's go into our house and take a look here. And we will also listen to that holotape from our wife, Nora, in a second here. While I'm searching our house, maybe it is a little fitting. Whoops. Maybe. Okay, might as well quick save. I didn't mean to do that. Sorry, guys. It's getting the rust out of playing this because I haven't played it in so long that it does get a little rough. But I'm going to stay quiet here for a second and search the house, and I will play the holotape so you can hear it.
No. Little fingers away. There we go. Okay.
Bingo.
But everything we do, no matter how hard, we do it for our family. Oopsie. No. Little fingers away. There we go. Okay. Just say it. Right there. Right there. Yay! Hi, honey. Listen, I don't think that Sean and I need to tell you how great of a father you are. But we're going to anyway. Isn't that right? You are kind and loving. And funny. That's right. And patient. So patient.
Coming, buddy.
But everything we do, no matter how hard, we do it for our family.
Okay, so I kept screwing that up. I apologize. I forgot that if you click anything, it like auto skips the rest of it or something like that. So, very sweet moment. Always remember, guys, when you come back to your house, get under the changing station, because you get to add 1 to your special for free. And I'm gonna go actually luck here. That way we have access to some pretty sweet perks right off the bat. So I think we've grabbed a decent amount of stuff. Let's load up a little bit more than I was initially planning on. But yeah, I thought this was a really interesting, situation as you come back to your house and you see it completely and utterly wrecked. It's a little sad if you think about it. It's a little sad. It's like instead of you coming back and having hope, it does give a sense of a little bit of that longing for normality. Now, I guess what we can do is we can head to the Red Rocket Station, and from that point, what we can do is we can pick up a new friend, and I think actually, you know what? There is actually something before we head to the Red Rocket Station. There is something out to the kind of northeast section that I want to go grab. Oh, nice 38 round, and it is pretty. It's a nice little hidden thing. In early game, it can really become something useful, but it's out in this direction. If I remember correctly, I might wander around and not find it, but we are gonna try. But I want to hold off on the Red Rocket just for the moment. Now over here, if you guys couldn't tell, this is gonna be your phenomenal beginning. Always grab the subway tickets. Grab the tire iron just in case. But this is your first major chance at some different armor. Now the thing with this armor is it's gonna replace. You see all the spots that are glowing. If you don't know Fallout, if you do know all this stuff about Fallout, I apologize. But I figured I'd throw some information out for what I know, the very little. But so this is going to be a full outfit. Now, what this is it's going to take up. You can't add any slots for your shoulders, arms, legs, and chest. But this is going to be a full outfit. Sometimes they offer pretty decent benefits. I actually really enjoy the look of this thing. I think it's a pretty cool look. I actually prefer it on the female character, but that's just because I prefer female characters in, RPGs. But let us see what we can find. Now, I try to stick a little bit closer to the creek here. Now, again, as I said, if I can't find this, there's going to be egg on my face, and I'll have to look it up in maybe the next episode or something, or maybe down the line we can find it. But this stuff is... okay, so that's not going to be hostile. They show up hostile, but the Ratsack does, you never really have to worry about it. The wild mongrels, on the other hand, that's a bit more of an issue. Let's go ahead and get it popped up here. Oh, bad shot. Bad shot. Whoa. I should take a little bit higher of a chance. Now, because of the build of our character, we're going to be a little bit squishier and softer and a little bit more prone to damage, I think, than a lot of people probably would start out with higher endurance. And there is an argument that I should have pulled up my endurance off the bat. Now, I don't really want to kill this thing because I feel bad. But at the same time, he's going to be messing with our thing. Maybe if we get close, he'll... Can you go away? Or shield, sorry. Oh. Can you go away? Can you leave? Thank you. No, stay away, because I would really enjoy if you stayed the heck away from me. Okay, so we're in caution, obviously. There is a section over here with a decent weapon, like a decent, powerful starting weapon, and it's been so long since I played some good old Fallout 4 that I can't seem to remember exactly where it is. So I'm in danger. I'm hoping that's that rad stag. Yeah, I think it is. I was just thought it was a little interesting that you know, you've got this over here. You go out on the dock, and it's just like, oh, what's over here? Crispy squirrel bits. This rad stag may have to die just because it's messing with my stuff over here. Now, is it up here? Oh, part of me wants to say it's up here. Now, the issue with a lot of this stuff is when we run into situations with mole rats pretty early, they're going to be an absolute pain to deal with because they're just, you know, them being able to pop out of the ground and all that is just an annoyance that I'm not excited about dealing with. I think we may have found it, ladies and gentlemen. It's not. Yep, this is going to be it. So this is going to be one of the most powerful early game weapons, I think. Like, when I say early game, I mean like right now early. It's got a couple of good little things floating around here too. You know, some bobby pins. Then you've got the 44, which is always a great early game weapon for when you need to be put in a situation in which, you know, it may be feasible. Granted, you're gonna have 5 rounds with it when you start out. It's not great, but that's okay. And then we've got our double barrel shotgun. Granted, with only 2 rounds, which is basically like, you know, basically 1 round in my opinion. I mean, which is good. You'll get more ammo later on. That's always nice. Yeah, but that's a decent little opening slot for anyone that is kind of not feeling the 10mm. I personally like the 10mm. I find it great for like little scouting things, where you're gonna want to eventually add a suppressor onto it, and then you know, a decent scope. And if you can find a legendary roll, I thought that was ammo. If you can find a legendary roll, then you're in business, like an incinerary or something along the lines. Kind of for early to mid game, when you run into legendaries, that is, it's always a fun time. Now, you may have seen a glimpse in the background, but there is a little friend that we are gonna meet.
Hey, boy. What are you doing out here all by yourself? You lose your owner, buddy?
Oh.
Okay, then. Let's stick together. Hey. Fetch!
I don't know why I screamed fetch. I also don't know when he brought me. I can't remember. Now, Dogmeat is the goodest boy. Granted, his name is Dog. But yeah, if you follow Dogmeat, look at this. Look how good of a boy he is. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. Now, I know this game well enough to know what's about to happen. So, where are they? Where are the little twerps? There they are. Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, I will say, early game, having this much AP and a critical that's already banked along those lines, great feeling. Look at all this AP we have. Granted, we are 110% using. We are 100%, using a 10mm, so we're allowed to get a lot more shots off. So that's great. Anyway, let's go ahead and take our first perk, ladies and gentlemen. So let's take a look at the important things here. So we've got, Gunslinger, which isn't bad. We're gonna, by the way, for a while we're going to be sticking in agility and luck since we're so high up on those. So, you know, Fortune Finder, not horrible. Scrounger, not bad. Commando, okay. Sneak is always solid. Bloody Mess is pretty good. Mr. Sandman, obviously. Mysterious Stranger, we could have a good time with that one. Idiot Savant, action points, we could be even more ridiculous with it. But if we're looking down here, I mean, we can just start off on... Let's just grab Critical Banker right out of the gate. I know, well, do I want to be that greedy? Yes, I do. So, the whole point of this character... Oh, shoot, I should have taken better criticals. But, that's fine. The whole point is to get critical shots and action points and just start flinging death out. That is the entire point here with this build. Alrighty. I'm Stimpack. So I'm going to collect some stuff around here. And, ooh, a pipe pistol. That's always nice. I'm going to take all this. And then we'll actually go back to Sanctuary and dump this stuff off. No, okay, so also I would like to have the radio on, but I think I might get in trouble for the music. Possibly. So I don't want to risk that. I might... Let me know in the comments below if you know if we are allowed to listen to the music in Fallout 4. The dog just opened the door. It would be nice if we could. If not, I totally understand. It might be better just to leave it how it is because I don't... Something's telling me it's copyrighted music, so I don't think we're going to be able to play it. Which is a shame because it's such a good part of the game. It really does add a lot to the atmosphere. Okay. Good stuff, good stuff. Alright. Let's see, business entries. Okay, so, if you also don't know... Whoops! Sorry. I was like clicking through stuff too fast. Join or die. There is a little cave at the bottom here. Look at that, Nuka. A milk vending machine. Gross. There's a cave at the bottom of the red rocket here. Maybe we might instead, because I've always wanted to make this my camp. I think I've done it in the other game, or my other save, pardon. But I would like to maybe make the Red Rocket my camp this time and make it super nice and defendable and everything, and have my own little party. And I can send all the settlers to Sanctuary because I don't want to deal with it. So maybe what we will do is we will dive into this cave, and then we might, because I don't want to start Concord just yet. I don't think that is something I want to do. I would rather save that for a full episode, you know? But let's grab everything we can, and we'll do another run around the Red Rocket and grab everything, and then we'll run maybe back to Sanctuary. Maybe we'll call it good. But so, this little area back here, the cool thing about this is it has a pretty high ceiling for early game loot. And I think the only thing, if I remember correctly, in here is mole rats. I don't think necessarily there's too much else to worry about. Oh. Well. There it goes. Oh boy. Oh boy. See, I love dog meat because dog meat will just hold him to the ground and just murder it. Oh jeez, that never ceases. I know I shot on the right leg, but when you have 95%, it really doesn't matter where you're aiming. Let's go ahead and grab some stuff here. You never know. Where did that... Oh, maybe the body is over there. But the brain fungus is so gross sounding. It's like... Blah, blah, blah. Yes, that's what brain. That's exactly what it sounded like, Steven. It sounded like blah blah blah. It sounded nothing of the sort. Now, if I remember correctly, this is a big junk pile, and the guys that were down here were supposed to be disposing of. Yeah, here we go. So there's a pretty heavy amount of rads here. Now, there's something quite important back there to grab for the early game loot, I suppose would be the best way to put it. And that is going to be, your, it's a fusion core, if I remember the name correctly. And it's very, very important you grab that because when you get in the Concorde and you run into a certain thing that runs on it, which is basically, okay, I don't know why I'm trying to like make a big surprise from a game from 2015, but you're going to get into power armor, and in case you haven't played a Fallout game before or you haven't played one since 3 or New Vegas, power armor is now like kind of almost like a vehicle that you get into, and it's powered on, on fusion cores, and that's a limited commodity, and they drain with usage and everything like that, and so you're going to want to have as many as you can. Now, what I've done in my previous or my first save, I have hoarded so much and never used it because I leveled up my character to yes, I know. But I've leveled up my character so high and taken the appropriate perks that I didn't really need the fusion cores as much as I thought I would, because I wasn't really ever in power armor. And that's something in this playthrough I think I'm going to kind of mess with a little bit. I'm going to try to use power armor more and have a bit more fun with it, because I really didn't get a big grasp on it the first time I played because I was so busy just plowing through people in other ways. Okay, let's grab the fusion core. We're going to take a lot of rads here, but it's very important. Okay. Mr. Benson, on behalf of the Boston Regional Office, we'd like to congratulate you and your team on winning the 2076 Trash Busters Award for the greatest year-to-year waste reduction by a single store. Respect for the environment is an integral part of our corporate image, and we appreciate your innovative efforts in this regard. Sincerely, Gerard Phillips, Vice President, Boston Region. So we'll go ahead and take that. What an idiot. We're going to go ahead and since we're taking the rads anyway, now let's get the heck out of here. Call that good. We can actually go up to our section in the Red Rocket and loot that a little bit cleaner, and that can be probably near the end of what we're gonna do for today's part. I want to kind of store stuff in here, do a quick little. Well, I don't even really need to do a loot trip, do I? I can kind of just talk a little bit about the plan for next time. It is quite dark. But yeah, that's a cool little area. I really enjoy that area. This opening section. I know that Fallout 4 got a lot of flack, which I don't think it really deserved a lot of it, because I thought it was very, very good. There was parts, there's always going to be parts in a game that are a little iffy, and there's definitely parts of this game that I didn't like compared to Fallout 4 or New Vegas, but you can't please them all, and honestly I think they did a phenomenal job. And this is after, of course, hindsight is 2020. This is after, in my opinion, the disaster of Fallout 76 happened, so it's easy for me to sit back now and be like, oh, this is as close to a masterpiece as I can remember compared to what we used to have or what we have now. However, it is what it is. I understand that. Actually, you know what? Let's do something here. Let's scrap some stuff. We'll go ahead and scrap these, even though we'll keep all our weapons. Wait, can I upgrade this here? No. Can I do any upgrades? I don't think I can. Oh, I might. So we're gonna go with, we can do a heavy frame, light frame, standard. But I don't like the heavier weight. Better critical shot damage. That's gonna be our, boom, there we go. I should have looked into other things. Now I've goofed. Now I've goofed. Silly me. I'm sure we can find other stuff, but that's okay. How much ammo do we really have? 52. That's a decent backup. We don't want to completely screw ourselves over there, do we? Yeah. Well, we've got a calibrated 10mm, which early game is actually going to help with our critical shot damage, which I think is a very, very important thing, especially with our build. We're gonna want to keep ourselves, you know, at that high critical damage, and you know, keep our VATs rolling, because that's how we're gonna get through most of this. Ooh, bottle cap. I have more money. Thanks, naked mole rat. If you know, you know. The real ones would know. Let's go dump that in. I have a little OCD when it comes to you know, junk. I don't like to keep very much on me. I much prefer for it to be cleared out. Is this? Oh, that's for show. Shoot. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're gonna wrap up today's part. This is our look now. We've got good old Dog, which we all know is named Dog Meat. So I don't know why they're, you know, why they're lying to us here. We all know it's Dog Meat. We have made it to the Red Rocket. We have done our first little foray into Sanctuary Hills again, and ran through the houses with Codsworth. We've grabbed a little bit of a secret, kind of, I wouldn't say secret, but we've grabbed a little hidden area over there for a nice snub-nosed 44, which is going to be a lot stronger than our 10mm. However, we did calibrate our 10mm for better critical shot damage, which is going to be fantastic for our build. We took critical banker, so we can start really saving up those criticals, because I think that'll be kind of fun early. Of course, we took out some mole rats up here and down below. We took out some bugs. We have really started to get going here. Next time, however, next time we look down the road, about over, hold on, I'm trying to make this epic, about over this, you know what, let's just follow the dog. The dog clearly knows. We're going to start heading down to these houses and into Concord, because I think that we have a hell of a fight waiting for us down in Concord. And if you haven't played this game before, it has got some really cool shock and awe moments that really play up the drama, and it really kicks things off with a bang. So next time, ladies and gentlemen, I think we'll be dipping down into Concord and spending pretty much an entire part of this series down there, digging into it. Might be a little longer, may not be. However, thank you guys so much for checking out this Fallout series. I mean, episode 2 is, I had fun. I like getting characters set up pretty nicely, and I like that the build we're going for is a little bit, it's close to what my original playthrough was, but it's not, it's going to be way more focused on your critical shot damage and VATs than my other one was. However, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Part 3 rather, should be coming next week. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you give it a like, comment below if you are so inclined to. If you're not already, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you next time. Thanks so much.